Hello everyone, my name is John Michael Bushman and welcome back to Lucy, the eternity she wished for. I unlock the door and I enter the house. Well, that's a good way to start this. Let's see what our pro-tycoon is up to. Unlike usual, I could sense someone's presence inside. Oh, his dad's home. Probably. I hear a couple of voices coming from the television inside the living room. My father appears to have returned home early. Makes me feel uneasy. I effortlessly remove my shoes using only my feet. Come to think of it, I was always home alone. It's always been this way since I've grown old enough to take care of myself. Before that, we used to have a housekeeper watching over the place. However, that was only until I began middle school. From then on, I was always by myself. I would eat breakfast alone, eat dinner alone. The cycle would repeat endlessly. I don't remember the last time all of us ate together as a family. There's no such thing as a home-cooked meal in this household. I've eaten so many different kinds of instant foods in my life that I've come to memorize every product of every brand. That is such a sad existence. Oh my god. No wonder you're like this, Protagun. My father puts his work before family. Why is he still there then? And my new mother follows my father everywhere to support him while practically ignoring me. Yep, why are you still here, Protagun? That's my family. At this point, it feels out of place to see someone actually home. Dear God. To think you could do better than that. My father's on the couch watching television. Do we have a Sprite? Yes, we do. You're back. He doesn't even turn around to face me. He realizes he's not in a good mood. Yes, father. You're very late. Check the time. It wasn't actually that late. There are times when I'd be back much later. I wonder if this man even knows how old I am. Where have you been wandering around for so long? Don't you know that you'll be in college soon? I don't bother replying, says the guy who's never paid any attention to me. I think to myself, I don't get along too well with my father. Our relationship compares badly with other families. But that is to be expected. I think the music's a little loud. There we go. And we're having this like jazzy music amidst this obviously strained relationship between two people. Like, what the hell? We've never spent much quality time together, going to the zoo, playing soccer. I don't have any of those fond memories that other kids my age probably have. My earliest memories are of my father's stern face, so it would even be more bizarre if we actually got along. And I stand in silence. The old man launches his next attack. Are you not listening to me? He still doesn't bother looking at me. I've gotten used to minding my own business. We keep to our own devices. To solve any conflicts within the family, you would normally need to sit down together and talk about it. My father doesn't think there's any need for that. He thinks everything is fine the way it is. It'd be really painful to talk face to face with that man, though. Just stop by somewhere on the way home. I'll deal with our usual exchange. As long as I don't make him angry, that's good enough for me. I just need to maintain the peace between us. Always been this way. As usual, I try my best not to rock the boat. I don't know what you kids are up to these days. Remember that students like you should be studying. I'm saying this for your sake. Yeah. Stop hanging around with those brats who only care about having fun. Yeah? You can't afford to lose sight of your main goal. Stay focused. I'll be going to my room now. With that said, I tried to make my escape. Our conversation would usually end about here, but Lucy, who had been silent all this time, decides to whisper something into my ear.
失礼ですが、マスター、あの方はマスターのお父様ですか?
Maybe. I hesitate whether to tell her that. In the end, I quietly whisper back. Yeah. She taps my
マ
shoulders.
スター、もう下ろしてください。
I have no choice but to grant her wish. Maybe Lucy's voice had caught him by surprise. Because my father finally turned to face me. He's wearing a bewildered look. Who's your guest? With a wide smile, Lucy grabs onto the edges of her skirt. Then she performs a flawless curtsy that would make a princess
は
envious.
じめまして、お父様。多目的用途として作られたアンドロイド、ルーシー・バレンタインと申します。今日からこちらのお世話になることになりましたので、何卒よろしくお願いいたします。
Well, it's just a robot. His attitude changes completely. The sharpness in his voice penetrates every part of my body. But Lucy doesn't seem to notice. Or rather, she's pretending not to. She continues with a smile.
掃除、洗濯、料理、何でもお任せください。 ルーシーは一般家庭における多くの家事をプロ並みにこなすことができます。
I'm sorry, but there's nothing we need from a robot in this family. I suggested you go look for somewhere else to stay.
申し訳ございませんが、お父様。ルーシーにできることは数えきれないくらいありますよ。
Mm-hmm. This is not looking good. Meanwhile, Lucy continues to ramble on, completely oblivious to what is about to happen.
先ほど申し上げた以外にも、お父様が心配なさっている息子さんのための教育も可能です。もちろん、素晴らしい教師の教育法を厳選して参考にしています。
She's talking as if she's about to become my personal tutor.
それ以外にも優秀な機能はたくさんあります。お裁縫や不自由のない暮らしのための家政婦の仕事など。
Just where did you get this piece of junk? Get it out of my sight! His angry outburst is as sudden as it is intense. It catches Lucy off guard. She stumbles backwards in alarm. No surprises here. It's all of this coming from a mile away. It's a present from a friend. I lie instinctively. If I honestly tell him that I found her in the trash, he'll definitely force me to take her back there. I'll just say I got it from Dr. Gears. My father knows his manners. There's no way he'll make me throw away a present. Really? You haven't stopped being a troublemaker since you were little? What have I always told you? Robots are ruining society. Did you forget about all that? My father has always been like this. Robots are becoming increasingly more common. They're gradually making their way into our daily lives. But my parents consider them as intruders infiltrating human society. They're unable to catch up with the shifts in technology whilst they refuse to let go of their traditional ways. They simply refuse to coexist with robots. Thanks to that, I grew up hearing nothing but bad things about robots. Well, what's wrong with keeping one around the house? What's wrong, you ask? I read most families own androids nowadays. Why can't we just keep one around for convenience? You've clearly just added fuel to the fire. Convenience? Think about the type of people that care about convenience. Convenience makes us lazy, and when we're lazy, our minds don't work properly. Convenience makes our minds weak. It's obvious how they'll live the rest of their lives. Without realizing they're hopelessly lazy, they'll just end up living a meaningless existence. I've already lost count of how many times I've heard this from him. Today's lecture is Variant B. It goes from A to Z, by the way. I'm pretty sick of this. I just want to wrap up this conversation so I can leave as soon as possible. Anyway, I've seconded it already, so we should keep it. I'm the one's going to be using it, so why do you care? Who's going to be paying for the electricity? Who taught you to be so selfish? I'm starting to reach my limit. Come on, I want to leave. I'll pay for it. I can get a part-time job. A job? You're going to get a job? You're going to work when you should be studying? Yes. Do you realize how important this phase of your life is? These years in high school could decide the rest of your future. With whose permission are you planning to work? Kids like you should be studying. Just keep your mouth shut and study. Well, I'll pay you back when I grow up, so just leave me alone. I screamed at the top of my lungs. His eyes widened in shock. That was to be expected. I've never raised my voice in front of my parents before. You can't do this, you can't do that. Then just what the heck do you expect me to do? I'm so fierce I can feel the steam rising from my head. At the same time, my father's eyes quickly narrow and begin to burn with rage. That was a slap. Time slows down and I'm left struggling to process what had just happened. I stand in place, holding my sore cheeks as I stare at my father in shock. Not knowing what to do, Lucy is fidgeting non-stop. Just where did you learn to be so stubborn? I've never raised you this way. Shocked and humiliated, I can no longer calm my fiery soul. I turn around and stomp off towards my room. I pull Lucy along with me.
Master?
Hesitating, Lucy eventually makes a short bow to my father and trails along. Behind me, I can hear my father yelling. But I shut out all my blind rage. I shut it out as my blind rage is nearly overpowering. Entering my room, I lock the door behind me. I hear my father yelling as he continues banging on my door for a while. Not sure how many minutes have gone by. It feels like an eternity. Even if I block my ears, I can still sense the floor shaking. I curl up my body and wait for the moment to pass. That was intense. Although I think it's to be expected given how much of a traditionalist this family is. And it's one of those situations where, these people refuse to move along with the times and just try to stay true to the path that they've known for so long that they have become inflexible to the point where any bit of change is extremely scary to them. So that's going to cause a strain just like we see here. The clock slowly ticks away. After a long while, I uncover my ears. The noises have stopped and I've finally begun to relax. As my head eventually clears up, I realize what I've done. Huh. I'd finally lost control. I yelled at my father for the first time in my life. It's been a while since the last time I was hit by my father. It was like the rupturing of a dam after so much pressure and strain. Thinking back, it's strange that we've never had any direct confrontations like this one. Our relationship was like an unstable bomb, but I've always managed to prevent it from going off. Today was different. It was bound to happen sooner or later. I tried to slow down my breathing. Okay, Lucy, what you got to add?
マスター
Uh-huh. New scene, so that means music has kicked up again, and there we go. Lucy calls out to me cautiously. What is it?
大丈夫ですか
Probably not. I wonder what she means by alright. Nothing's alright, but I know what she meant. So I give a small nod anyway. With a wet handkerchief from who knows where, Lucy wipes down my sweaty forehead. The fruity smell of her perfume is surprisingly calming.
気に障ったら申し訳ございませんが、マスター
Mm-hmm. What is it?
お父様にあんな言い方は良くないと思います。
And I mean, she is right. My face quickly becomes contorted with anger. The heck, are you so telling me I'm a bad person? Lucy shakes her head.
悪いとは言っていません。でも、お父様と話すときは、もう少し優しく言った方がいいと思います。
Ah, the idealist.
家族ではないですか。きっと心の中では傷ついていると思いますよ。
Oh, you don't think I'm bad, huh? When you're the one telling me that it's my fault entirely? I was the one that was hurt, and he was the one who hurt me. My head is aching, so just drop it and leave me alone. Lucy, who had been squirming about, goes completely still. Both her eyes suddenly lose their color. After a while, she springs back to life.
しかしマスター、メモリーチップに記録された通常の家庭問題を検索してみた結果、家庭不和を招くと思われる会話類型の中に、マスターとお父様の間に起こったパターンと似た過程が多数検出されました。
That's to be expected. What are you talking about?
論理的に考えると、マスターの行動は二次問題を招く可能性があります。この問題を解決するためには、まずはマスターが過ちを認め、お父様に謝罪を。
Shh, Urasai. Your explanations don't even make sense and you're calling it logical? You wouldn't understand anything anyway?
はい。ルーシーが見たのは何かと言いますと？
What can you possibly tell from watching us for just 5 minutes? What did you exactly find out about us? How can you say something so ignorant without knowing anything about the past 18 years we've spent together? The android tilts its head, looking confused. Answer this. How many minutes are there in a day?
1440分です。
How many in a year?
52万5600分です。
Every time I see that number, I think of the song from Rent. Then what about 18 years?
946万800分です。
As expected from a robot, her calculations are quick and accurate. Correct. Out of the 9,460,800 minutes I've spent with my father, you've seen only 5. That's less than 0.0001%, an insignificant amount. It's my fault they had to witness something like this. But that man is always finding the smallest excuses to teach me things that only he himself believes. Think of it as throwing out an entire pan of pizza because a single burnt piece of pepperoni. Where's the logic in that? Lucy's eyes lose their focus. It's just like before. Could she be looking up something inside her memory chip again? Or maybe she's doing a search online. She returns after a moment.
申し訳ございません、マスター。先ほどおっしゃった意図を、 ルーシーは完璧に理解できませんでした。
See, this is proof that sometimes AI, I mean, granted, Lucy is supposed to be an AI that learns almost as much as humans do, but there are limits. Just like this, where human emotion is involved. No matter how advanced an AI is, it will never truly understand that aspect of humanity. No matter how advanced they are. I figured as much. Cause and effect. The universe operates on this principle. If a father neglects his son, then of course the son would neglect his father in return. Who's at a bigger fault here?
でもマスター、
Neither. What is it?
おっしゃったピザは一切れのペパロニを交換すれば完璧なピザになると思います。
That actually makes sense. Or just, remove it. How much longer can I argue with the smiling, carefree robot? She's not carefree. She is working off of numbers. That's not exact. You're looking at this the wrong way. I lie down on my bed while hugging my throbbing head. Then I thought one of my trademark phrases. Oh, this is why I hate robots. They're all so stupid. Oh no, Lucy. Lucy appears to be brooding over something. After a while, she finally speaks up again.
マスター、問題解決のためにはやはりどちらかが謝るべきだと思います。
That's actually correct. Then why should I be the one apologizing? I'm not the bad guy here.
マスターが悪くなくても先に謝ればいいと思います。
She's right, Come on, Protag-kun. She's still right. Even if your father has been neglecting you while you oh my god. I can't believe I'm the one saying this. Your dad may have been the one to fire the first shot, but you were the one who added fuel to the fire. So by all technicalities still your fault, but you're the one who should be. Well, then again, he's just a teenager, so he wouldn't have this kind of wisdom just yet. So eventually you're going to have to be the one to take action, like multiple actions, in order to resolve this issue. If you can't stand your dad, you might as well go. I mean, you're friends with Dr. Gears. He'd probably love to take you in. Not gonna happen. Shouldn't the old guy be more mature and understanding? I'm a high school student. I do stuff on impulse. Do you get what I mean by that?
それならわかります。
Oh dear God. I can only wonder what Lucy is going to say.
オートバイに乗り失踪しながら窓ガラスを割っていく。そんな時期のことですよね。
That is not the answer I was expecting out of Lucy. Kind of exaggerated, but as long as she gets my point. I mean, well, yeah, and one of those kids these days that the adults are always going on about. It's natural that I'd have trouble controlling my emotions, so don't expect much from me. To be honest, I do think that I'm way more mature than the other kids at my age, only because you think you're old-fashioned and traditional, therefore you think you're better than everyone else, thus giving you a superiority complex. But I digress. This is all irrelevant though. I'm sure anyone would take their family matters very seriously.
でも、お父様も謝るのは簡単ではないはずです。
Why is that?
そのような性格だからです。
You've learned so much from meeting him in just a few minutes. That's impressive. See, he literally just did a 180 here. Protag-kun literally just did a 180. He was chastising Lucy earlier, and now I'm pretty sure the reason why Lucy talked to his dad in the first place is to try and figure out how his personality goes, and boom, there we go.
時間の長さは関係ありません。ルーシーの中には膨大な類似情報が蓄積されているのです。ルーシーが持っているいくつかのソースによると
Trust my source, bro. Sources? What kind of sources? Wikipedia? Reddit? 4chan? So, these three in particular are canon in this world. Great. Alright. Ignore me outburst, Lucy continues.
記録されているお父様の行動パターンおよび声質を精密に分析した結果
Holy shit, she can go that deep, huh?
お父様は義務感がありその反面とても真面目で頑固な性格の典型的な亭主関白でいらっしゃいます。すべての感情を抑えることが家庭にとっての美徳だと思っておられます。
Okay. And?
普段の習慣はすぐには直せません。先にマスターが声をかけるべきだと思います。
By the way,
はい。
if you want me to make up with my father, that means I'll have to throw you out. He's not the type of person to make any compromises. Have you realized this? I guess not.
どうしましょう。追い出されたらとっても困ります。
Oh no. For somebody who has a lot of information just at the drop of a hat, she did not realize the consequences of her actions there. Jesus Christ. Don't ask me. Why don't you think before you talk next time? I shake my head. The reason behind this mess of a conversation is the fact that I'm talking to a robot. Sometimes I forget that she's a robot in the first place. And sometimes it's the reverse, where I end up deliberately pointing out her flaws as a robot. And then everything in my head gets mixed up. This robot really knows how to stress people out. Because she acts like a human being. That's why. It's an AI so advanced that, you know, it does what it does here. Oh my god. Wow, a little too short, so we're gonna keep going after this one. May 11. The Doctor. Oh, back to her creator. Alright, let's see what this chapter holds for us. And the music kicks up once again. Alright. We're gonna just, you know, we'll just click it a little and then it'll be back to normal. Lucy? Lucy? Lucy Valentine? Can you hear me? The Doctor? Herr Doctor? I burped a bit. Oh, we're now on, we're in Lucy's POV. Can you hear me? Lucy Valentine? Yes, Doctor? Oh, she's finally awake. Ah, you're finally awake. Oh no, we're in a Skyrim reference. Okay, so this is probably during her, prototype days.
ルーシー。
Mm-hmm. Yes, Lucy Valentine. That is her name.
ルーシー。ルーシー。バレンタイン。
Mm-hmm.
あなたは。
Do you recognize who I am? Silence. Lucy slowly shakes her head. Is that so? I continue. I'm Dr. Ryu, your creator. And this is the K Robotics Research Lab.
一ノ瀬博士。
Mm-hmm. Yes, Dr. Ryu. I'm your creator.
私を作った人。
Yes. Yes.
私を作った人。一ノ瀬博士。
Okay.
一ノ瀬博士。
Mm-hmm. Yes, Ryu. That is my name. It's funny to be saying all of this now, but yes, Ryu. That is my name. It's a bit of a little introduction, but be sure to cherish and remember it.
覚えておきます。一ノ瀬博士。
Alright? The 3 laws of robotics. Once again. Oh my god. This has been showing up way too often. But again, it's still a little too short. I think we can keep going here. October the 14th. Back to Protag-kun. Let's see what we got.
スター
My body is being shaken from side to side. Something is shaking my body.
マスター起きてください。
What do you want? Still feeling drowsy, I try my hardest to overcome the weight of my drooping eyelids. Finally manage to force open my eyes. She's probably looking over me. Please give me a view of her. Yay! She is looking over me. Hey, look at those big beady eyes. Right before me was a pair of blue eyes the size of frying pans. Yeah, she's eyes are anime-ishly big. Ah! I stare at Lucy in bewilderment as I find myself fallen off my bed. Oh god, Protagon. Curtains are open though, so that's a nice change of pace.
もう朝です。よく眠れましたか？
Before I make any attempt to talk back at her, I decide to check the time. It was earlier than usual. I let out a big yawn. It's so early in the morning. Before I could ask why I was woken up so ahead of schedule, I start to sniff. I could smell something delicious. My room was filled with the mouth-watering scent. I tell myself that the neighbors must be cooking up something good. Then suddenly Lucy opens her mouth.
朝食のご用意ができました。
Those words were the most unexpected. Did you say breakfast?
冷蔵庫にある材料で簡単に作らせていただきました。お口に合うかはわかりませんが。
Breakfast? The word had a nostalgic ring to it. When was the last time I'd eaten something other than fast food for breakfast?
何か嫌いな食べ物はございますか？
No,
嫌いな食材はございますか？
not really. Nothing like that. I want to say carrots and cucumbers, but I decided against it. I didn't want to be seen as an immature kid complaining about his food. It just doesn't fit my cool intellectual image. Protakon, this is why I hate you so much. Still haven't fully woken up yet. I confirm my understanding with Lucy once more. You're telling me you made breakfast?
はい。ルーシーが実力を発揮しました。これから10分後にできますので、これを飲んで少しお待ちくださいね。
A cup of water is presented to me. I was just starting to get a little thirsty too. As I grab hold of the cup, its pleasant coolness spreads along my skin. I feel embarrassed about following Lucy's orders, but I decided to take a small complaint as I put the cup to my lips. And I think this is going to be like tradition from now on. At the beginning of like every new scene, we're going to have to readjust the music. Every time. Next time you should wake me up when the food's actually ready.
ダメです。起きてすぐに食事すると、胃と腸に負担がかかります。
That is actually sound advice. Holy shit. Yeah, because your body needs some time before it can actually take in some food. So, which is usually a few minutes just after you wake up. Holy shit. They did their research.
一杯の水で腸の活動をさせた後に食事を取らないといけません。
Yep, that's true as well. Just not really cold water. You don't want to shock your body. Preferably room temperature water. That's annoying. Well, what a strict one this robot is. I enjoy the feeling of cold water pouring down my throat and quenching my thirst. I feel like my insides are being cleansed thoroughly. Suddenly, I realize how absurd this whole situation is. The fact that someone is preparing breakfast for me. Could I still be dreaming? I feel like I'm on cloud 9. Lucy cheerfully skips towards the kitchen. I only continue to stare at her blankly. 10 minutes have passed. Breakfast is ready. Only now I feel more awake. It's a pain how my body is really slow to start itself up. I begin to feel hungry. The smell of Lucy's cooking motivates me to drag myself out of bed. I head straight to the kitchen table. Alright, scene transition. Boop, 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 boop. Oop, new scene. I'm stunned by the veritable feast laid out before me. And I'm pretty sure if it's a veritable feast, it's going to be something that will quite literally feed you from morning all the way until night. A cloud of white steam is rising from the bowl of rice. The soup is boiling with intensity. The sound it's making is music to my ears. And there's a perfectly prepared fish along with a variety of side dishes. It'd be shameful to compare this to a lunchbox from a convenience store. Appearing to have sensed my delight, Lucy smiles pleasantly. Her voice is full of tease. That is one smug face that I would love to screen cap. Yes, good job, Lucy. I feel a sense of defeat. I begin to feel frustrated for no particular reason. I want to say something in reply, but I decide to hold back. I take a seat in silence and lift my spoon.
美味しいですか？
I haven't even taken a bite yet. Hold on a second.
さあさあ、冷める前に召し上がってくださいね。
No, because the food would be too hot, then I would scald my tongue. Lucy, come on. Lucy takes a seat at the opposite end of the table. While striking a sly pose with a hand on her chin, she urges me to eat. It was as if the food was suddenly going to disappear if I didn't start soon. She's gazing at me intently, trying not to make it obvious, but I can tell she's very eager to see my reaction. Whatever I say next will decide what her face will show. I take a spoonful of the glossy white rice and I put it in my mouth. It's good. Perfect flavor and texture. While I'm at it, I try some of the side dishes too. This is truly a Korean setting because, well, granted, Japan does it too, but there's just something so Korean about having a main dish and then having side dishes as well to complement the main dish. Because I think that's a holdover from their older times where the more full your dining table is, the more well off you are. If I'm remembering my Korean history correctly. Because usually it's the upper class, usually the royalty, the nobles, they're the ones who have like full tables to eat for themselves while, those below them eat only like out of one bowl of rice, like on a daily basis. Marvelous. She really wasn't lying about her cooking skills. I mean, granted, you are working with a supercomputer, Protagon. She is bound to literally just look everything up, follow everything to the letter, and likely not make any mistakes unless, of course, she was programmed to do so. Let's be fair, though. She probably knows only the best recipes from around the world. Exactly what I said. And since she's a robot, there won't be any inconsistencies in her cooking. If they had programmed her to be a top-level chef, then this was to be expected. Nothing to be surprised about. But a robot's just a robot. She wouldn't be able to top something that Mama used to make, as they say. Although personally, I've never had the opportunity to taste my mother's cooking, so I can't compare. Looking back at Lucy, who was still staring at me with great anticipation, I think about what I should say. I can feel an aura of confidence around her, yet she appears to be worried at the same time. She's expecting me to say something. I finally make my reply. Oh dear God. I mean, look, I've already begun this playthrough by just being tolerable at the very worst towards Lucy. So I'll just continue along that path. That's alright, I guess. Yep.
よかったです。
Yeah. She's such a cute little girl. I want to pat her on the head. Even with my meek response, she lets out a big sigh of relief.
お口に合うか心配だったんです。
Yeah.
好みに関する情報が足りなくて。
Okay. You don't need to concern yourself with that. I've been eating fast food my whole life. I'll eat anything, even if you make some porridge from pig intestines.
ルーシーの料理は動物の餌と同じということですか？
Oh my fucking god, Protagon.
料理すらちゃんとできないルーシーを
Oh no.
どうかお許しください。
The crescendo of the music is appropriate. Oh my god. But it's a little too loud, unfortunate. There we go.
本当にルーシーはアンドロイド失格ですね。
Will you suggest committing Sudoku? She actually looks pretty depressed about this. She looks as if she's about to run off while leaving behind a trail of tears. What the fuck is this, Protagon? An anime? Oh, wait. Am I supposed to chase after while holding a piece of bread in my mouth or something? Jesus Christ, Protagon, you don't have to lay it on that thick. No, that's not what I meant. I'm saying it tastes better than what I'd expected. Don't need to beat yourself up over it.
本当ですか？
Yes, yes, yes.
本当に信じてもいいのでしょうか？
Yes. It doesn't take long for Lucy to cheer up and start humming away happily. It's nice that she's easy to deal with. I continue to eat in silence while checking up on her every few spoonfuls. Okay, transition. What do we get? I can't tell how much time has passed. The bowl of rice I'd been eating from started to show its bottom. I steal a glance at the clock. It's not yet time to leave for school. While reveling in my satisfaction, I decide to sit back on my chair and chill out for a bit. Some time passes. While cleaning up the empty dishes, Lucy asks me a question. Her tone was quite delicate, as if to soothe a small animal.
失礼ですが、マスター。昨日から気になっていたことが一つあるんです。
What is it? Go on. She seemed to be hesitating, so I gave her a little push. Go ahead.
ロボットが嫌いなのは、もしかしてお父様の影響ですか？
Probably not, but likely yes. The question catches me off guard. All the unpleasant memories involving my father come flying back. I slowly realized that my chopsticks were frozen midair. Without missing a beat, I continued delivering the food up to my mouth. In an attempt to hide my surprise, I purposefully give a curt answer. Music has picked up quite loudly again. There we go. Just a little weaker. I guess you could say that. Nothing will change from denying it. I put down the chopsticks and lock eyes with Lucy. Thus, robots just laid waste the values and beliefs I've held on for the past 18 years. Keeping my eyes on the robot, I muse. Now that I think about it, I was probably brainwashed.
洗脳と言いますと?
I've heard nothing but awful things about robots since I was little. Robots are bad, robots make us ill, robots harm society. I grew up listening to that all the time, so it's sort of just rubbed off on me. Ooh, flashback! The previous generation of IT, now the new generation of robots. As long as we live sandwiched between two generations, there's bound to be people advocating against new technologies such as robots. There are plenty of people out there who are strongly opposed to their production. My father is a prime example. Ooh, what's this? Similar to what happened during the Industrial Revolution, the effects of this profound new technology is gradually expanding across the globe. Robots are slowly taking away people's job opportunities. Jesus Christ, this was released back in 2016. It's 2023 now, and AI has leaped to the point where people were like, currently only ChatGPT exists as the only publicly available AI chatbot, but it has already done leaps and bounds for a lot of people. Some bad, some good. But we will eventually come to the point where the stuff here in Lucy will come through. So, and of course, there's also Detroit Become Human, which is a game that I've played a while back, probably during the height of the pandemic. Yeah, we still had a PS4 back then, and it has unfortunately died on us since then. I'll miss that little guy. I mean, not as much as the PS2, of course. The PS2 was the pinnacle of gaming way back when. But before we go on that tangent, it costs less to maintain robots than to pay employee salaries. That is actually horrifyingly correct. Robots never complain, and they're consistent in their performance, unlike people. They don't feel stress, pain, and they never mess around. It'd be much easier to deal with a robot than to fuss over a troublesome worker. We're only beginning to find out what kind of changes robots will bring to our society. We are literally experiencing this now. Unemployment is getting out of control. All the newly formed jobs are being handled by robots. And this is why many people shun them. No one understands whether this is a temporary phenomenon arising from the drastic changes in our lifestyle, or if it's a type of a psychological disease. It'll only become clearer as time goes on. The biggest suggestion even the pro AI, at least the non-zealous pro AI people, the thing that will appease both camps, at least from the conversations that I've heard, is that AI is only supposed to, at the very most, do the menial work. It's supposed to only do the jobs that most blue-collar workers do. The ones that involve that are repetitive in nature, and the ones that require extreme precision. Stuff like that. But stuff that requires human ingenuity, creativity, emotion, like say the arts, which is why there is like a huge actor strike happening over in the West right now. that cannot be replaced because there's just something innately human about the arts that AI will never be able to fully replicate. I'd rather, I mean, even me, I would personally rather have AI do menial stuff like, say, cleaning the house, doing household chores, hell, even doing groceries and whatnot, and other like menial work, and leave us humans to do bigger and more, progressive things. And this is the problem that's being presented to us here in this game. One thing I can say for sure is that there's always been a divide amongst the population, as made evident by the Luddism movement in the early 1800s. Some are more willing to accept this new technology, while some are not. To me, a world run by robots doesn't seem too promising. Yeah, because humanity, free will, those things, they'll definitely disappear once we fully let AI to take over our lives. It was too late by the time I'd finally grown old enough to be able to think for myself. It's not as simple as just changing my perspective. But maybe I still wouldn't have turned out like this, even without my father's influence. My hatred for robots has simply become a part of my life now. The most horrifying part of brainwashing is that you can never truly fight against it. It's technically impossible to bend someone completely to your will. You can't do anything about people acting loyal on the outside, but despising you on the inside. Brainwashing is different, however, because a person wouldn't have the knowledge to think for himself in the first place, and it's possible to take advantage of that bit by bit. As long as the victim never comes to realize this, he'll never be able to retaliate. There's also needs to be a compelling reason for him to change. Even with a good reason, it's likely that he won't be willing to accept it. Because if he did, he would be going against all the beliefs he'd held onto for his entire life. It would crumble the foundation of his very existence. The older a person becomes, the harder it gets for him to admit that he had been in the wrong. Who knows? Maybe I'd have never come to hate robots if I wasn't in this goddamn family. It's late for me to start thinking about that now, though. Lucy is thinking.
ルーシーはですね、マスターとお父様のお二人がロボットを好きになってくれると嬉しいです。
The father probably no, but Protag-kun probably yes.
ルーシーを好きになってくれると嬉しいです。これからはここで仲良く暮らしたいので。
Upon hearing that, I only let out a bitter laugh. You saw what my father did when you found out you're a robot. You're asking for the impossible. It'd be a relief in itself if nothing happens to you behind my back.
捨てられるかもしれません。でも、それでもロボットを好きになってもらいたいです。
Huh. I sigh softly. She's failing to think logically as a computer. Even after hearing that my father wants to throw you out, how could you still hope for something like that? If person A hates person B, it's likely that person B will come to hate person A. At least that's how it is in normal human relationships. So how come Lucy can't grasp this? Maybe because she's very patient and forgiving? Nah. It's because she's a robot that knows how to suppress its emotions. It's because she isn't human.
お父様もきっとマスターのように心の優しい方です。
Or she's just very idealistic.
ルーシーにはわかります。だからこれからマスターと仲良く暮らしてほしいと思っています。あ、もちろんルーシーとも。
You're already mistaken by calling me kind-hearted.
お父様だけではありません。
She just ignored me. That little.
マスターもアンティークショップの店長も研究所の方も皆さんいい方たちです。マスターをはじめとする世の中すべての人を力の限りサポートする。
Is there a way to make this just automatically scroll without me having to I guess I'm a little too used to playing Nikkei, where for these like visual novel-esque segments, you can just press a button and it will automatically skip to the next lines of dialogue so that you can just, keep your hands free and literally just watch a visual novel play itself. And then have some human input whenever choices are being made. But this is still 2016. It's a ways away from where Nikkei is.
それがルーシーの使命であり願いです。
Mm-hmm. It definitely sounds like something a robot would say. Doesn't seem like she's capable of sorting the good from the bad. I can't help but give a cynical reply. In the end, we're the same. You've also been brainwashed, but in a different way. Lucy slightly tilts her head to the side. She seems to do that whenever she's confused about something.
マスター、どういう意味ですか？
You will love humans. That's essentially what's been programmed into your main system. You have no free will. That's an illusion. You have no choice but to act this way. She tilts her head from side to side. She doesn't seem to understand. You want to help everyone, right?
はい、もちろんです。
And you're happy when you help people.
はい、とっても嬉しいです。
Why do you think that you want to help others and that you feel happy once you do?
そうですね。どんな理由でしょうか？
Boom! We've reached the end of the road that the AI can answer. It's because the program those researchers put inside you is forcing you to feel this way.
そうでしょうか。
You are trying to make a robot have an existential crisis. Jesus Christ. Yep. Your will and your personality are yours, but at the same time, they aren't. They're from the people that made you. They programmed you this way and you're simply following orders. You're nothing but a puppet on a stage whose strings are being pulled. It may look like it's moving by itself at first glance, but it's actually being held up by wires. And those people behind the stage are controlling these wires. That's who you are. You're only moving according to how they want you to move. The pupils in Lucy's eyes diminish. She appears to be deep in
マスターが
thought.
何をおっしゃっているかよくわかりません。
Probably because you're not supposed to, dig that far behind your firewalls. I'm saying that your actions have no actual meaning. You're just a toy made to do certain tasks at a certain time. Nothing about you is real. There is no significance. Do you understand? The mind, its emotions, and its intuition are on the inside. The body, its movements, and its reactions are on the outside. If they're just part of a computer algorithm created by someone, then they aren't genuine. Any gestures, any sentiments, there's no meaning behind them. I stress the idea over and over again. Something like that doesn't have any meaning.
そんなことありません。マスタ
Okay,
ー。
let's see her counterpoint. She startles me with a sudden rebuttal. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, go on.
意味がないなんてありません。
Mm-hmm. Oop. We are seeing something. A rebuttal from a robot. Let's see what she says. Oop.
きっと意味はあります。
You're saying there's meaning. But you still don't get it. You were made to be friendly with humans through a program. It's not by your choice. Your actions, your feelings, they're artificial. That's why they're
関
meaningless.
係ありません。誰の意図であろうと、
Okay.
誰の意向であれ、ルーシーが手伝えば誰かは喜びます。誰かが喜べばルーシーはもっと嬉しくなります。誰かのお役に立てましたから。ルーシーは人を助けることでやりがいを感じ、人は必要としていた助けを得ることができます。
So she's saying that in spite of that, if I'm able to do what I'm programmed to do, then everything else doesn't exactly matter. That's actually a really idealistic way of looking at things, and I like that.
ルーシーはそれだけで満足です。
Exactly what I said.
それがもし誰かによって意図された状況に過ぎないとしても、行動もルーシーの意思でない他意によるものだとしても、ルーシーにとってそれは全く重要な問題ではありません。
Mm-hmm.
ルーシーがその時感じた感情、助けた行為、助けたという事実、助けを得た誰かの気持ち。
Ah, the mindset of living in the now. That's actually
この過程
decent
を
for a robot.
マスターは偽りというかもしれません。意図的に作られましたから。でもルーシーにとってはこれは本物であり、そして決して意味のないものではありません。
That's actually a really good way to look at it. Nonsense. Fuck you, Protagon.
私の名前はルーシー・バレンタインです。
Lucy states her name, as if she's announcing herself before a crowd. She also did not refer to herself in third
ル
person.
ーシーという名前は光という意味のラテン語から来ています。人々の希望に光をさせるようにと 願いを込めてつけたそうです。人の役に立つこと。人の役に立った後の達成感を感じること。これがルーシーの人生の目的であり、願いです。ルーシーが感じる胸が温かくなるこの気分。これが何かによって作られたとしても、この感情は偽りにはなりません。それはきっと意図とは関係のない真実だと信じています。
I tried to say something back, but the words never came out. It felt as if there was something stuck in my throat. It wasn't exactly because I agreed with her, and it wasn't because I was touched by her words either. I actually thought she was being very stubborn. As stubborn as a mule. It was rather because of how Lucy appeared so mature and real. The way she confidently stated her opinion. Nothing about her was as remotely close to my idea of a robot. That's why I could only sit in silence. I headed to school with my mind in a haze of confusion. And with that, 3 big events happened. Protag-kun, confronting Lucy for probably the first time in a long while. Then we find out the state of his home, and then a bit more backstory when it comes to Lucy. Now, normally I would only cut stuff off when we see the 3 laws of robotics appear on screen, but unfortunately I have to be somewhere as I'm by the time that I'm recording this video, I unfortunately have to be somewhere. So we're gonna cut it here, and here's to this journey, whatever this is. We'll probably have some more existential conversations further down the line with this one hell of a visual novel. Oh my god. So if you guys what you saw and you want to see more of Lucy, hit like, comment, subscribe, and share this among your friends. And until next time, toodles.